Hey everyone, Rho here. Today we're discussing the clandestine operation of the Officio Assassinorum. Spoiler warning to begin, as the events we're discussing today are from the Warhammer 40k novel Assassinorum Kingmaker by Robert Rath. As always, I really recommend you read the stories for yourself first without spoilers, as that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Okay, so this is a bit of a different one to our usual conversation topics. We're not focusing on some grand conversation or encounter that shook the lore entirely. Instead, we're looking at the simple reality of how the Assassinorum operates within the Imperium. It's actually a topic I've been wanting to discuss for absolutely ages. And I know I'm only getting older, but I'm pretty sure I haven't forgotten we've already discussed this one. But for me, the Assassinorum is easily one of the most interesting and appealing branches of the entire Imperium. The organisation that deals in nothing but death, yet entirely operates beneath the surface, within the shadows, completely unseen and unknown by virtually all the Empire that it serves. To even become aware of it or its actions is to result in a swift death. And you could argue, for those that know, the Assassinorum could invoke more fear than even the Inquisition. For while the Inquisition may investigate, the Assassinorum is there for only one thing. And within the story Assassinorum Kingmaker, there's a small but truly revealing piece of information, a glimpse behind the curtain, on just how the Assassinorum and the various intelligence agencies of the Imperium operate, specifically in regards to how its messages are transmitted and received. And it all begins with the very origins of the message. Upon a night world of Dominion, a young woman named Tessena Starn, recruited by an Imperial spy master, asking if she was willing to perform a service for the Emperor. Now, although compensation was given, let's be honest here, if the offer was declined, she would undoubtedly be dead. It's not the kind of question you refuse in the Imperium. And since the offer, like many thousands, possibly millions across the Imperium, she has served, watching and waiting, reporting once a season for 7 years, nothing to report. Until, of course, the day came that something needed to be reported. And Starn, pursued by her enemy, fulfilled the one duty she had been tasked with: sending the report. As autocannon rounds tore Tessena Starn apart, her message was already in the wind. She had known little about the technical specifications of the Vox set she'd been given. She had not needed to know. Indeed, even the nameless spy masters who had given her the instructions did not fully understand its workings, which was fitting, because while the purpose of the organisation was to gather information, its operatives understood that natural curiosity was to be directed outward, at the enemy. One did not ask questions. Knowledge about sources and methods was something superiors granted if they deemed it necessary, not a thing one should seek out. And this immediately reveals the strict nature of the Imperium's clandestine organisations, the Officios beating at the heart of terror. Here, Tessena has performed a duty for the Imperium over 7 years, dutifully watching and waiting, in possession of a particular and unique Vox set that she didn't even truly know what it was, and neither did the spy masters above her who recruited her. Yet it was integral to her duty, her role. And it's that remark of curiosity is to be directed outward, at the enemy, that you don't ask questions, that really represents how the dark heart of the Imperium operates. That fear, that intimidation, and in truth simple black and white, matter of fact, that to inquire, to ask, is to die. Perhaps keeping things so strict and simple is the only way to truly keep the Imperium safe, considering the foe of chaos. However, you can definitely see how chaos and its agents are in turn able to infiltrate and infect their way across the Imperium too. For if you cannot question the Imperium, let's be honest here, how can you be sure? The simple truth is you can't be. How many people out there across the galaxy are currently serving a darker purpose under the belief that they are serving the Imperium, their God Emperor? An interesting question to ponder. However, regardless, we also get to see how this message travels across the galaxy. That tower was the message's destination, and it used the reliable point to renew signal strength and change direction, redirecting its beam to the chancel fortress of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica that sat on the mountains overlooking Gathering Palace. There it met a young astropath named Drusus Mac, or rather, it met a small coin-sized implant in his forebrain. Inserted shortly after his successful soul binding, Mac was unaware of the implant's nature or function. He only knew that, on occasion, an encrypted message would float up from his subconscious and repeat like an obnoxious hymn lyric, until he channeled it into the message harmony of the larger astropathic choir and sent it on its way through the warp. Mac had no idea that this act, done without fault twice a year, was the entire reason he'd been assigned to the backwater night world of Dominion. So again, another unknowing, unwitting servant in the intelligence's arsenal. A literal implant embedded into this astropath's brain, which he has no idea what it does or why. And think how many of these unwitting astropaths there must be across the galaxy. How in every important or key system, there could be an astropath in clear sight, but unknown as a vital part of relaying the hidden, secret transmissions. And even as these messages are sent into the warp, they don't travel and aren't sent conventionally. Within the warp, the message piggybacked upon other astropathic traffic, the theory being that the best way to hide deeply secret data was amidst a stream of similar data. Yet when the stream hit the first relay station of Shoutin, another implanted astropath separated the message from the stream of traffic, re-encrypted it, sanctified it, and sent it through the warp to Astro Station Pacificus Deep. There the process repeated before the final delivery into the sanctified atmosphere of Holy Terror. So again and again, the message is essentially smuggled across the Imperium, hidden within other seemingly unimportant or less vital data, re-encrypted over and over again, until it reaches Terra itself. I mean, such a small little detail, but for me these are the kind of things that are absolutely fascinating to discover. These secret goings-on and realities of how these organizations actually work. How the Assassinorum receives or knows when it has to act. A reception choir of 3 astropaths received the communique, picking apart its layers of psychic encryption until only the original coded message remained. Never allowed to leave the keep, and living in dwellings that adjoined the reception room, they spent their lives off shift in study and chant, and on shift passing messages they could not read, which was in fact a mercy, given that if by some impossible chance they did divine the contents of the message, they would be immediately executed. It was a silent world of scratching quills and murmuring as the astropath sketched each communique via automatic writing, sealed it in a secure tube, and inserted it into the chest of a delivery servitor. At any one time, a dozen servitors idled in ranks, some with armour painted red for the Mechanicus Fortress, green for the Militarum, blue for the Navy or purple for the Navis Nobilite. The Dominion communique, on the other hand, received unusual care. The chief of the Astropath Triarchy loaded it, with caution, into the chest port of a matte black, up-armoured servitor. She took such care because she knew that the cylinder port sat between two melter charges, designed to trigger if they detected tampering. Then the astropath spoke the code word that sent the tracked, vat-born monstrosity trundling down the tunnel, marked with a skull and cross, its cranium bisected with a dagger, to the Officio Assassinorum. Ah, so good. Astropaths decrypting a message, but only down to an original coded state. Not even knowing what it is they're receiving, what it is they're transcribing, only knowing where it has to go. And then the literal threat of life passing it on to the Assassinorum. Literally live and loaded melter bomb charges that trigger within the barest hint of an incorrect movement. This is how the Assassinorum operates across the Imperium. Intelligence agents watching, waiting, reporting, unknowing in truth who they are even reporting to. Astropaths receiving and transmitting messages they don't know the contents of, and most likely even where the ultimate destination is. The messages travelling across the galaxy, all along hidden within another message, invisible to the watching eye. Encrypted time and again, over and over, until it reaches the beating heart of the Assassinorum headquarters itself. Since the return of Guilliman to the Imperium, the Assassinorum has been unleashed across the galaxy, ordered to play its part. So the amount of these hidden communiques must be vast, an entire network of unseen and unknown orders and reports. It is truly gargantuan in its enterprise, and nothing short of astounding that it operates so perfectly in its secrecy. How an assassin, or even an execution force, can be tasked to a target on the other side of the galaxy, execute its kill, and the wider Imperium can be none the wiser. You can see the hallmarks and echoes of the sigillite in its makeup for me. And as I've said before, for all the grand battles and epic duels that make up the 40k universe, it's these kind of small, informative details that not only flesh out the universe, make it feel real and alive, but that also just make it better than anything else. Give it a depth that just can't be matched. Something as simple as seeing how the Assassinorum receives its communications. One of the most enthralling and interesting facts going. But as always everyone, what do you think? Are you surprised to see the Assassinorum hiding their communiques within other normal messages, as it were? Or is it in fact an ingenious way to go about it, removing the element of their messages being intercepted by watching parties? Are you surprised to see so many servants performing their role, unknowing of just what and who they are responsible to? Is this kind of method integral of ensuring complete secrecy? Given the Assassinorum has never been as active as it is now, how many such hidden networks do you feel are quietly working away within the Imperium? And is this the barest example of just how widespread the Imperium's secret defense truly goes? As always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.